So get a picture of this. You can go to either side. There's other versions of the original up on the ridge spur, but we're not going to walk up there today. I'll wait till everybody moves in before I do the explanation. But if you, this is a good spot. This is, I think, this is part of the original. But you can really appreciate the ridge spur now. See it going up? Let me see your maps. You have 6C. Let's see. What's the next one? I think I want 6.
Yeah, we're beyond that.
Oh, 16 is this one.
Yeah, this one. Okay. Your next map I want you to look at is map 6E. 6E. And now Garnet is coming up onto the field. And in the old days, instead of being overgrown with all that rose bush here, I used to be able to walk through just a little patch of it right here. And it would be an open field that I used to call Garnet's Field to tour groups when I took them up here. It's now completely overgrown up there. And then there's an 1880s view of the stone wall that was used in battles and leaders that was from the Confederate side, from Garnet's Field. We kind of did a Frostinito on that, if you will, and kind of mimic the spot. You can't do it anymore because it's so overgrown. You can see a portion of the wall up on the ridge spur, but I think this is a good portion of it right here, and I want you to appreciate the spur. So look at the deployment of Confederate troops, and you see the 23rd and 37th Virginia, right? Then up on the spur, you have the 21st, the 27th, you see the 4th Virginia in between. So they would defy gravity if you put them on this declining height. So most 8 companies are at the top, and then 2 companies, you see those tiny 2 little icons, they're down here, including the Liberty Hall Volunteers, which is from Washington and Lee University, right? That's the Liberty Hall Volunteers, right across from VMI. They occupy this spot right here. They're one of 2 companies, and the Pulaski Guards of the 4th Virginia. And that's kind of cool to be able to develop that line. So beyond the 21st, you'll have wedged in there a few companies of the Irish Battalion, and then the 2nd Virginia, Garnet will splice them into the wall. And then the wall starts wrapping from, not that kind of wrapping, wraps around from west, east now to almost forming like a little angle as it starts to divert toward the south. From where you saw the yellow house on Pritchard's Hill, that's kind of how it's wrapping around. We'll pick it up on the other side. But you get the idea here. By the time all the Confederates are here, which is by 4:30 or so, Garnet's got them up as quick as he can. There are anywhere from, before all the casualties started getting incurred, between 1,800 and 2,000 Confederates behind that wall with 13 operating guns on high ground. What will you need to dislodge that? Give me a number.
6,000?
At least. There's nothing close to that. Okay, again, I'm going to tell you, the Union will dislodge this with fewer than 4,000. So we'll have to think of how that happens. All right. Part of the reason, and I'm getting to it, and I'll get to it now, is there's no communication, as we know down here. We know that Jackson doesn't shift the troops. Jackson's biggest mistake in the battle. Who's do I have here? Jackson's biggest mistake in the battle, among many, is that he didn't provide any small arms ammunition. They're all left in the wagons back at Newtown. They came with the 40 to 60 rounds, and they'll blow off that ammunition in less than an hour, and they'll start peeling away from the wall. And as Garnet's trying to get them back, they'll say, I don't have a round left to fire, what do you want me to do? And as the Confederates keep lifting their head above the wall, all these Union troops are kind of fighting on their own hook now. They're spread out behind limestone outcropping in little gullies, and they're just waiting for somebody to raise their head above the wall, and they're shooting them in the head. All right? So Confederates are taking some casualties, and Jackson, you know, Napoleon said an army marches on its stomach, but an army does fight with bullets, and Jackson doesn't have them well supplied up here. That's part of the problem. But we're going to learn from the Union and what else is going on to to defy that military doctrine that we told about. So the situation between 430 and 445 is the Confederates have secured this part of the wall. However, it's not being challenged. All the challenge is going to be over there. All right. Now, if you're Nathan Kimball and you're on Pritchard's Hill and your artillery's out of ammunition and have been suppressed by the Confederate artillery, and what time does the sun set?
6:12.
6. Oh, you guys are good. And the sun. Oh, by the way, what was that question I told that last person to hold off on? Did I answer it?
The length of the line?
The disposition of the troops.
Oh, it's Garnett's disposition. I got that covered, right? You got all the regiments in. All right. So, so if you're Kimball over there, and you got about an hour and a half until it starts getting dark, all right, and you're out of ammunition on Pritchard's Hill, what are your options? Give me your options. Now I'm doing it as a staff ride. We'll see. But what are our options
They're out of
here?
artillery ammo.
They're out of artillery ammo.
Not in.
I meant his guns up on Pritchard's Hill. Yeah. Generally what three? Give me one of three things that he could do.
Bring more artillery up there.
Well, he's out. He's all of his artillery's deployed. He could bring Huntington's battery. That's a good point. I didn't even consider that. Okay.
Caissons or the caissons with the limbers.
Say?
Caissons with the limbers. Could he call a
Can you
caisson?
bring ammo up?
Yeah, it's a good question, but I think those would still be back in Stevenson's Depot.
I'm
I'm sorry, I
thought you were talking about the Federals.
Now I'm talking about the Federals. They're reserved, just like Jackson. If there's any more artillery rounds, it's way back at Stevenson's Depot, 7 miles away. It's just too far away.
You said
Bring up
your
infantry. You can withdraw.
He could. Now remember, he doesn't understand the military doctrine. He has no idea how many troops are here. Yes, one of his options is go for broke and send more infantry. That's a pretty gutsy move, right? What else could he do?
Does he? So he doesn't have ammo, but does he have powder?
I don't know.
Withdraw.
He could withdraw. That's how I was waiting for that one. Or just try to hold on.
Yeah,
Right?
just stand there.
Either withdraw right then or just wait till the cover of darkness, right? So he's either going to attack, he's going to withdraw, or he's going to hold on.
One of the things I'm sure he hadn't fired any canister. This is all long distance, so he could defend himself.
If they're charging closer to him.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. But I'm saying that the battle shifted. Now Jackson, who had been on the offensive, is now definitely on the defensive. He's basically inviting you to attack. And I'm sure Kimball doesn't realize he doesn't really have enough infantry to knock out that line. But whoever thinks that way in the Civil War, right? You're going to attack or you're not, right? So he's going to attack, and he's got a small window in which to attack. It's going to get dark soon. So we're going to pick up that dramatic attack at our next and last stop, which has just been open to us over the last 4 years. Really exciting stuff. My heart's going like this now. I'm surprised I could still talk to you.
They are, okay, so the question is, are they going to open this area up?
Yeah, up over the hill. And
They're
along the
going,
line.
the county parks and recs, are going to put in 2 walking trails from this trail, well, actually a rustic trail and the main trail that will connect our property, and that's supposed to go in within the next maybe even 30 days. So you will be able to come out here. It's foot traffic only.
It's long. It's a long walk.
Well, I can tell you exactly what it is because I follow the pink lines or pink. It's only 200 yards to the loop trail, but the loop trail is about a third. So it's like a half a mile that way, and it's a half mile the other way off the main trail.
But that's to get, and then to get back to the parking lot.
It's an additional half mile. So it's a mile of walking to get, and then our property has about a mile of trails in total.
Yep. So
It's a beautiful trail where they're cutting it down through the ravine, so it's going to be very nice.
I believe that's pronounced Ravine. But that's just what
No, you just cut a small trail. It's only 6 feet by 9 feet. That's all.
Will you be
Dirt
able to
trail.
see Pritchard's Hill
Ravine.
at all? Pritchard's Hill. Will you be able to see Pritchard's Hill?
Oh, you'll see Pritchard's Hill in a minute.
Next stop, you will.
Oh yeah.
So what you guys are going to see now has only been
You'll be impressed.
only a very few privileged groups have seen this before. You're about the third or
There's
fourth
probably
or fifth.
150 people.
Yeah, maybe that many in the last 4 years. So you guys are going to get a good view of what's
The
coming up
Confederates
next.
who were shot in the head here, you cited a medical source down in the Apple Valley field about they were hit by artillery
Well, that was just a casualty list
A casualty?
that was specific.
Did that show it? Did the
Yeah,
head,
yeah.
did that
They
show
said
it the
hit,
same thing?
hidden. Yeah, when any killed and wounded up there, they couldn't get hit below the waist. They're behind the wall. So yeah, that's how. But they didn't name as many in the Stonewall Brigade regiments. The spot where they were shot. They just said shot.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we're going to leave this spot, but at the end of the battle, when the Union troops get over this wall, the poor Confederates here, they look up the ridge spur, which is clear. They see blue uniformed troops coming down toward them. So they overran the wall, and then they chase these guys. All these men will flee in that direction. There'll be three sides of an infantry square to repulse the Union cavalry that's coming in. So that's one of your first ever views of that's happening in the Civil War. But they don't get to complete it in time, and they completely vacate the area, and a lot of them get captured around a mill pond, a recreational area called Neal's Dam, about a mile further down the road. That's where most of these guys will get captured. Inside of where Funston and the cavalry were up on the hill. So all this is happening beyond his position. I think they've already vacated it. That's why.
Can I tell a real quick story of Sergeant Major Barton? Does that name ring a bell? Barton? Didn't Barton's Woods?
Bartonville.
That's his family. Okay, they were all almost all in the Stonewall Brigade, many casualties. He was wounded 7 times in the war, made it all the way to Appomattox. He described being captured. He was part of 4th. He described being captured. He saw the cavalry come up with their short rifles. What the heck was he talking about?
Carbines.
What kind of carbines? 1862.
Spencer?
Henry?
Sharps.
Sharps.
Henry, the Spencers came later.
Target. Nothing.
So anyhow, he described it, and it was a big old, he said it was a Ohio sergeant, should have killed him, but he didn't want to give up his sword because he's the first family of Virginia. Randolph was his name. He was named for the Randolph family. It goes back to the colonial Williamsburg, and he didn't want to give up his sword. He says he was thank God that sergeant should have killed him, but didn't. And where did he go? What was the name you said? First.
Fort Delaware.
Fort Delaware. And they were released, I think, about
August.
Pretty
By the way,
quickly.
Jeff, when 250 prisoners is the equivalent of a decent-sized Confederate regiment. Now, I think just in general, we tend to look at a casualty list and we think, well, it's less detrimental. It's more detrimental to be wounded than it is to be captured. But these guys missed the rest of the campaign, whereas somebody that's wounded could be wounded slightly enough that they're back ready for the next battle. These guys are out for the rest of the campaign, and it's getting that many people captured and sent to prison is the loss of a huge regiment. It's a big deal to lose that many men in this battle, in addition to the killed and wounded. All right, so that's what's going to happen here. We'll pick up the rest of the story. When we get over to the picnic area, we'll talk about how we're going to coordinate this.
Everybody meet at the pavilion.
Yeah, going back to the car.